My partner had a habit of changing clothes in his car before coming home. I thought he was just being tidy. Then I found a receipt for a dress shop, size XS. I confronted him. He said, "It's for you." I said, "Then why is it the exact size of your assistant?" He had no answer. I did. I'm from Cincinnati, born and raised. Spent my whole life believing if you worked hard, loved hard, and stayed honest, life would pay you back. Guess that was a lie. I'm 41. My partner, Mark, is 44. We were together for 7 years. 7 years of shared bills, vacations, holidays, and late nights dreaming about what life would be like when we got old and boring. Mark works for a marketing company downtown, some mid-sized firm that handles a lot of big restaurant chains. I work from home, running an online business selling handmade crafts. So yeah, I'm home a lot. Enough to notice patterns. Enough to see small things without really seeing them at first. Mark had this habit. He changed clothes in his car before coming inside. Always said he didn't want to drag the day's grime into the house. I thought it was sweet, honestly. Thought it showed he cared. He'd pull into the garage, sit in the car for a few minutes, and then come inside smelling clean, wearing jeans and a fresh t-shirt. Looking back, I realize now that habit was one big damn red flag. He also had this assistant, Megan. Megan with the fake laugh. Megan with the perfect skin. Megan who texted him at 10 p.m. about tomorrow's meeting. Megan who was 22 and made me feel like a dusty old couch in comparison. I never liked her. Never liked the way her name popped up on his phone, always with emojis. Still, I trusted him. God help me, I did. The night it broke open started like any other Friday. Mark was working late, then going out with a client. He came home around midnight, smelling like a different cologne than the one I had bought him for Christmas. He looked messy. His hair was ruffled like fingers had been in it. His tie was crumpled in his pocket, and there was a red smudge on his collar. Lipstick. He gave me some story about a drunk client hugging him. I laughed it off like an idiot and kissed him goodnight. I barely slept. The next morning, I was doing laundry when I found it. A crumpled-up receipt shoved into the bottom of the laundry basket. Not from a restaurant. From a boutique in Covington, Myra's. A high-end women's clothing store. The item? One red cocktail dress. Size XS. Price? $348. My hands shook. I sat on the floor staring at it, feeling the world tilt sideways. I'm not a size XS. Haven't been since college. Mark came home around noon. I was sitting at the kitchen table, receipt flat in front of me like a piece of evidence in a murder trial. He walked in smiling, whistling some stupid tune like he didn't have a care in the world. Then he saw my face. "What's wrong, babe?" he asked, dropping his keys into the bowl like he didn't have a damn clue. I held up the receipt. No words. Just held it out. He looked at it, then back at me, and smiled like he was about to sell me a used car. "It's for you," he said. Voice steady. No shame. Like that was supposed to fix everything. I stared at him. "You think I'm an idiot?" I said, my voice shaking. "This isn't my size. You know that. But it is the exact size your assistant wears. Isn't it?" He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Nothing. No slick lies. No quick story. Nothing. He stood there frozen like a deer in headlights. And right there, in that moment, everything in me went cold. I got up. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I didn't cry in front of him. I walked into our bedroom, pulled out my old duffel bag, threw in some clothes, my laptop, and a few toiletries. Took my dog, Max, with me. He whined, confused, but stayed glued to my side. He knew something was wrong. Dogs always know. Mark followed me down the hall, stammering half-formed apologies. "It was just a mistake. It didn't mean anything. Don't throw everything away. We can fix this." I didn't say a word. Didn't even look at him. I walked out the front door, got into my car, and drove to my sister's house across town. She didn't even ask questions. Just opened the door, hugged me, and poured me a glass of wine. I cried until my head hurt that night. Cried harder than I ever thought possible. Cried because 7 years don't just go away overnight. Cried because I had loved him with everything I had. And he had pissed it all away for a cheap thrill with a girl who couldn't even rent a car yet without a cosigner. The next morning, when the crying stopped, I woke up angry. Really, really angry. And that's when I realized I wasn't just going to walk away. I was going to make sure he regretted ever thinking he could fool me. The first thing I did was block his number. No warning. No goodbye text. Just gone. He tried calling from other numbers. He even had his sister text me, begging me to talk it out. Not happening. I needed a plan. Something real. Something that would make him feel the way I felt, a hollow, furious, betrayed. I spent that Sunday gathering information. I still had the passwords to all our shared accounts. He hadn't changed a thing yet. His email, his cloud, his work calendar. All wide open. It didn't take long. Inside his email, I found strings of messages with Megan. Some sweet, some disgusting, some dated months back. Reservations for weekend trips he claimed were work retreats. Pictures he had sent her shirtless, stupid, thinking he was sexy. Receipts for jewelry. Flowers. Hotels. And the worst part? A booking for a surprise weekend getaway in Gatlinburg. For the two of them. Next weekend. While I was supposed to be visiting my parents. He had it all planned out. He was going to send me off, all smiles, and then run off with her like nothing mattered. It made my stomach turn. But it also gave me exactly what I needed. I wasn't going to just disappear quietly. I was going to ruin his cozy little life. First thing Monday morning, I called his boss. I knew his company had a strict no fraternization policy. I played it smart, told her I was a concerned third party, and asked if she was aware that Mark was in a relationship with his assistant. I said I had evidence, emails, receipts, pictures, and I could send them over. His boss sounded very interested. Asked me to forward everything. Said she would take it from there. I did exactly that. Then I went a step further. Megan's parents were pretty conservative. I remembered Mark mentioning once how scared she was that they'd find out she was dating an older man. I found her mom's Facebook page. It wasn't hard. She had her phone number listed right there. I called her. Told her who I was. Told her everything. At first, she didn't believe me. Until I texted her the photos. The emails. The hotel bookings. The woman screamed at me over the phone. Not at me, at the situation. She thanked me, said she'd handle it. By noon, the damage was already starting to show. Mark's office called him in. He tried texting me from a new number, saying, "What did you do?" I ignored it. Focused on the next part of my plan. The shared credit cards. The joint savings. I had already quietly moved half of everything into my name the night before. Legally. Fairly. Mark thought he was the smart one. He had no idea I had been quietly preparing for weeks. I closed the accounts. Canceled the cards. Left him with nothing but his personal checking account, which wasn't much because he had been spending it all on Megan. By the next evening, he showed up at my sister's house. Banging on the door. Yelling like a madman. "Come out here," he shouted. "We need to talk." My sister stepped outside first. She's 5 feet tall and all fury. "If you don't get off my property in 5 minutes," she said, "I'm calling the cops. Get your cheating ass out of here." Mark's face went red. He looked like he wanted to fight someone. Then he saw me standing inside the door, just watching. Calm. Silent. Not crying. Not pleading. Done. He broke. Right there on the lawn. Started crying. Actual tears. "I made a mistake," he sobbed. "She meant nothing to me. It's you. It's always been you." Pathetic. I turned and walked away. Left him standing there, screaming my name, while the neighbors peeked out their windows. But it wasn't over yet. Not even close. Because Megan? She wasn't just some dumb little side piece. She had plans too. And Mark had no idea how bad they were about to screw him over. Turns out, Megan wasn't as innocent as Mark thought. Not even close. 2 days after the mess at my sister's house, I got an unexpected message. It was from Megan. She found me on Facebook. At first, I thought it was going to be some catty, defensive message. I almost didn't open it. But curiosity got the better of me. It said, "I'm sorry. He lied to me too. Can we talk?" I stared at it for a long time. I didn't owe her anything, but part of me needed to hear what she had to say. We met at a little diner in town. I chose the booth by the window so everyone could see us just in case. Megan looked wrecked. No makeup, dark circles under her eyes, hands shaking around her coffee cup. Not the bright, bouncy girl I remembered from Mark's office parties. The first thing she said was, "I didn't know he was still living with you." She said Mark told her he was stuck in a dead relationship, that I was crazy, clingy, manipulative. He promised he was going to leave me. Said he just needed time. Said he loved her. Classic. Right out of the cheating bastard handbook. But then she dropped the real bomb. She was pregnant. Or so she thought. She told Mark 3 days ago. He ghosted her immediately. Blocked her number. Blocked her on everything. Told his friends she was a psycho trying to trap him. Megan was furious. Not just because of the baby. Because he lied to both of us. Because he threw her away like trash the second it got hard. I sat there, listening to her spill everything. And a dark, ugly idea started growing in my mind. I didn't have to destroy him alone. Megan had just as much reason to want revenge as I did. Maybe more. We made a plan. A real one this time. Not some messy, emotional outburst. A cold, careful plan. First, Megan agreed to send me everything she had. Screenshots. Voicemails. Even some photos Mark had sent her that he'd probably die if anyone saw. Then she went to HR at their office. With proof that Mark had pursued her while he was her boss. Not just a fireable offense, grounds for a lawsuit. The company didn't want a scandal. They fired him on the spot. No severance. No references. Next, I contacted the landlord of the condo we shared. I had already moved out. Mark couldn't afford the full rent on his own without our combined income. I let the landlord know I was breaking the lease due to domestic issues. When Mark couldn't cover it, they evicted him within weeks. Then came the final nail. I mailed a nice little package to Mark's parents. All the proof. Every dirty secret. Every hotel receipt. Every half-naked picture he had sent to a girl young enough to be their daughter. His parents, big church-going types, disowned him. Publicly. They posted a vague but brutal Facebook status. "We are disappointed beyond words in the actions of someone we raised better. Actions have consequences." Mark's whole world crumbled in a matter of weeks. Lost his job. Lost his home. Lost his family. Lost his reputation. Megan kept me updated sometimes. Last she heard, he was crashing on a friend's couch, drinking too much, working some minimum wage job he hated. Nobody wanted anything to do with him. Good. He earned every second of it. But here's the thing, Reddit. I wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot. Because while Megan was getting her life together, while Mark was circling the drain, I found out something that made my blood run cold. Something that changed everything about what I thought this revenge was about. A few weeks after everything fell apart, I got another message. It was from a woman named Alicia. I didn't know her, but she knew me. She said she had been seeing Mark for almost a year. She had just found out about Megan. And about me. And about another woman, too, some girl he met at the gym. Mark wasn't just cheating with Megan. He was sleeping with multiple women. At the same time. For months. Years, maybe. My stomach dropped when I read it. I felt stupid all over again. All this time, I thought it was just Megan. Just one mistake. One betrayal. But Mark? Mark was a serial cheater. A liar through and through. Everything we built together was based on nothing. And here's where I'll be honest with you, Reddit. I made a mistake too. I had been so focused on destroying him, on making sure he suffered, that I didn't focus on myself. I didn't heal. I didn't move forward. I lived in the hate. Breathed it. For months after he was gone, I stayed stuck. I watched his life burn from afar and felt satisfied, but also empty. Meanwhile, Megan got her life together. She wasn't pregnant after all. It had been a false alarm, but it shook her up enough to change her entire path. She went back to school, cut ties with every toxic person she knew, including me. She didn't want to stay connected to the mess. She wanted to be free. I respected that. I couldn't say the same for myself. I stayed bitter, stayed angry, stayed broken. Until one night, about a year after it all ended, I saw Mark at a gas station. He looked terrible. Gaunt, pale, dead in the eyes, still wearing that fake cologne, still pretending like he had it all together. He didn't see me, but I saw him. And for the first time, I didn't feel rage. I didn't feel sadness. I didn't feel anything at all. He was already dead to me. Had been for a long time. I just hadn't realized it until then. It wasn't destroying him. It wasn't watching his life collapse. It was outliving him. Outgrowing him. Forgetting him. Because people like Mark, they destroy themselves in the end. You don't even have to lift a finger. I moved on. Built a better life. Started trusting myself again. And Mark? Last I heard, he's still hopping couches, chasing women half his age, lying to everyone, including himself. Pathetic. Exactly where he belongs.